Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the class. Tonight is going to be a class without sfarim, without books. I'm going to tell you about halachot Pesach and halachot Shabbos. Today we actually have a crossover this Shabbos, this year Pesach, because we're starting Friday night. And as far as I remember, I never remember Friday night Pesach. Maybe when I was a little boy once, but okay. Okay, first of all, there is a big misunderstanding in people about the cleaning for Pesach. Chameitz is not Pesach. A. B. You shouldn't have chametz in your property, which means you sell all your chametz. When you sell all your chametz, lav dafka do you sell only one cabinet with where you have your cookies, but you also sell all the chametz which is on your plates and on your knives and forks, because it's poilat to poilat, which means it absorbs and gives off, and therefore that is a non-scientific but halachic form. So everything is chometz, unless you machshir it for Pesach in hot water, which we'll get to in a second. Everything is Pesach, there is chometz, and you therefore have to sell the chametz also, which is in the kelim and in the cracks and nooks and crannies of your house. Okay, there is an inyan of loteru chametz. You should not see chametz. That means it shouldn't be your chametz. If you happen to open a cabinet but you sold all the chametz in your house, it's not yours, it's not a problem. What somebody else owns is not your issue. For those people who go away for Pesach, you sell if you sell your entire house, which many people do, it's a great thing. You don't have to clean anything. You only have to make biur chametz in your new property, which is if you rent a hotel room, then that room is yours. If you go to somebody's house, you say, listen, sell me or rent me the room for $1. Now it's my room, like Yossi, by you in the hotel. When somebody come, you say, listen, I'm renting your room, but I'm also making you the owner, so it's your responsibility. If you have chametz in your suitcase, because you're not dati or you're not yet dati, it's not mine. It's yours. You own it. So please, make your own biur chametz. If they do it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. You don't have to force anybody, but it shouldn't be yours. Okay, next thing is, so we have the chametz. Now, if you sell your entire house, all the chametz, once you sold your house, that means you cannot come in on Pesach. Again, if you decide that you sell your entire house, so you're not doing any cleaning, you cannot enter your house. It's not your reshut, and nothing in your house is yours. You can't sleep. It's mamish gesele. It's you stealing. Okay. Now there are those who say, okay, no, we don't want that. We're gonna sleep home. So they sell certain cabinets with chametz, and the chametz on the kelim, and the rest they can use the space. Now, what chametz can we sell? There are different opinions. There are those who sell for sure the Sfaradim, Yossi, I very makpid. I don't know what your father used to do. Yossi, you wanna check in with me for a second there? Your father, your father sells any chametz? Right. No, you do. Oh, you do sell. No, that's not makpid. Okay, so then you do sell. Now, I know that there are certain people, certain Sfaradim, who don't sell anything. They either eat it or give it away before Pesach and bye-bye. That's called chametz mamash. You eat everything, even before chametz Pesach. No, right. So, for example, I can tell you about right. So, example, my parents, Shiryu at Me'asrim, they do not sell bread. Bread in the freezer get eaten, or they throw it away, give it to the birdies. Whiskey, you of course sell. Now, next, what means selling? You have to be very careful. For sure, for those people who are following the shiur outside the regular kihila, you have to sell to lo Yehudi, to goy, to non-Jew. But you have to write a very specific contract. If anybody wants, you can ask me. I will send you a contract before Pesach. You can either send it back to me or you can use it to sell yourself. But you have to write. That's why we go in a pool usually of like 100,000 people. You have to write a real value of the chametz. And even though it's owned by the goy, he has actually an option to buy it. It's like option market. We make it very unattractive for him. For example, my chametz in my house, between the scotch, between the vodka, between everything else, let's say has a value of 150, maybe let's say $400. Now, it could happen, and actually it happened to my grandfather in the war in Indonesia, that the guy comes over Pesach and says, listen, Vanderveld, here's $400. I'll take the scotch. It's a pain. You have to let him in. The whole thing, you don't want to do that. So if you ask, you have to. But I mean, you try to make it unattractive. So what do? You go with 10 or 15 other people who all have $400 worth. So now you have a pool of, let's say, $6,000 worth of merchandise. You sell it to one guy. You sell it to him. The option cost him $1. $1. If he decides at any time to exercise the right to take the chametz, to say, okay, I want it, he has to give $5,999 to the pool, and everybody gets a few $100s. Therefore, it's important to say a real value. Like my grandfather didn't say a real value. So, oh, the scotch is $1, and the person picked it up. Okay, so that is very important that you have a pool. The second thing is that it is a real sale. Meaning, if he wants it, he wants it. It's his. You know. Also, he has to understand that. You have to explain to him from the 9th hour on Friday, which is the Abasre, the Nissan, the 9th hour, which let's say would be in Costa Rica, let's say 11 in the morning, 12, maybe 12 in the morning, I don't know, it depends what time it gets light. At that point, you, Mr. Goy, are the owner. So you do the sale, let's say, on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. On 11 o'clock, Friday morning, you are the owner. Till Motzei Shabbat, 2 hours after Pesach. Now, very important, you cannot use your chametz till you speak to the guy and you tell him this beforehand. I'm going to call you Saturday night, the 14th, and I'm going to ask you if you want it or if you sell it back to me. If you sell it back to me, you're off the hook. Thank you very much. If you want it, then we'll just have to make a cheshbon, and you can pick up everybody a chametz. 1. Next thing is, tvila. All new items you buy have to go in the mikvah. It's called tvila, unless they're manufactured by a Jew. Most items are not. Most items come from China. If you buy in Borough Park or Monsey, then you buy it from a Jew. They have a mikvah in the store. If you buy the Costa Rica, Colombia, then you're out of luck. Or Argentina, you're out of luck. So what you do, you take it to the ocean, or you take it to the mikvah, or a natural body of water. Whoa. Al Tvilas Kelim, I think it is. If anybody has a question about the bracha, write me at rabbidavidv and at AOL.com, and I will give it to you. I will send it to you. I just have a blank out on that. Next, lahar shia. If you want to kasher anything for Pesach, unfortunately, I forgot to bring up samples. Usually I do. Knives, forks, spoons. Aoide hagbala. What is hagbala? You take a big sia, a big pot of Pesach. You throw it, boil hot water. It has to be bubble, bubble, bubble. You throw a stone inside and it goes bubble, bubble, bubble to the top. Now you take a basket, which you first stick in with a little stick and a metal spoke. So now that is kosher Pesach. Now you take all your knives and forks, stick it in a metal basket or in a strainer, and you, Yossi, are you there? I heard something strange. Yossi? Okay. We dropped Yossi. And you put it in the hot water. At the same time, when you put it in the hot water, you take a metal spud, a metal stake or screwdriver. You stick in the fire. You make it red hot. You grab with a pliers. At the same time, you dunk in the hot water, the knives and forks in the hot water. You put that thing inside, and it goes. It takes it 1 degree hotter. So if it's boiling, it's 212 degrees. It makes it 213, which is steam time, and that is basically the hardest it ever has gotten while you use it. Right, right, Yossi? I don't think you ever eat soup over 212 degrees. Am I right? Okay. So you have to bring it hotter than it was ever used. Okay. Now the exception there, of course, is if you use something on the spit like a spud. If you put chameitz on there, the only way to do it is to make it red hot in fire, which it's possible, it's doable, but okay. What can you not be machshir? Anything which is two pieces. For example, certain knives. If you have a knife with a plastic handle and a metal blade, you cannot be machshir that for Pesach. If you have a pot which is riveted, you cannot be machshir that for Pesach. Why? Because there's going to be chametz is going to be, when let's say you boil over something like daisa, like how do you call porridge, it goes in that area between the rivet and the pot, and that chametz can never get out. Now, if chalila, if you cannot afford another pot like that, there is a way of doing it. Is that you flame after you be machshir with hot water. You take a burner, a flame like a blowtorch. You torch the area where it was riveted, as long as, of course, there's no plastic handle. If there's a plastic handle, then you're out of luck. If there's no plastic handle, there's a metal handle like commercial, then do you do the tefillah in the hot water. Better in that case, if something is riveted, you cannot remove the handle, just buy a new pot. Am I forgetting anything? Glasses. Okay, if you want to reuse glasses on Pesach, it's a little bit of a pain in the neck. You have to put them in water, cold water for 3 days, and every 24 hours, spill out the water, put new water. Any questions so far, Yossi? Yossi? Right. 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 So, well, depends. Knives and forks you can kasher. Plates, stone plates you cannot kasher. Glass you could kasher. Right. Now, the best way, is the most kasher way, right? Now you count. What are your counters made of? Metal, stone, wood. The counters in your kitchen, what are they made of? Okay, so this is the story. If your counter is tile, you actually have to cover it. In America, all the rabbanim hold that if it is granito, if it's granite, then you can just belia. You take hot boiling water, again take a hot screwdriver, make it red hot, pour the water over the screwdriver, over the granito, and it is kosher for Pesach. You don't have to cover it. My mother doesn't hold that way. Right. All the rabbanim in America do, in Holland they don't, my mother doesn't either. Next, metal, very simple, you kasher the same way if you have metal sinks. If you have tile, it's the same as stone, you're screwed, you cannot kasher it. Okay, next. Okay, we can start early the seider. The seider you can start early, meaning you can tell if you have children, you can tell them about the seider. But you cannot make kiddush till it is nacht. At the same time it's Motzei Shabbat. That's when you start Friday night your kiddush, because the mitzvah Yisaper Yetzias Mitzrayim and Arba Kosot starts only when it is nacht, not when it is light, the candle lighting. So you have to wait, even if you don't have a minyan and you daven the derm. You can daven earlier, but one moment please. Hold on 1 second. 1 second please. Hello? 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 I call you in 5 minutes. I'm in the middle of a shiur. I call you in 5 minutes. Okay, so back to that. So Shabbat is Shabbat. You can always start Shabbat early, but the Pesach part you cannot. I cannot advise you to start davening earlier either, for the very simple reason: if you say Hallel, if you're menhag to say Hallel by the Tefillah also, then you should not do that before it is Nacht, before it is Laila. Okay, this year you don't have to make an eruv tafshilin, because eruv tafshilin is if it's Thursday, Friday, Shabbos. If it's Chag, starts Wednesday night, and you have to prepare Friday for Shabbat. You don't have it this year, so we're going to leave the eruv tafshilin for later time. Now, eruv stam. Carrying. I don't know if you have an eruv, Yossi, and in other places where we have students, we do, we don't have. The idea about eruv is very simple. On a reshut harabim, on a public street, you're not allowed to carry. It's deraita, you're not allowed to carry. What considers a public street? A street where there's 600,000 people and is 22 amma wide. Some say it's either or, but Rav Moshe holds it's both. If you come to New York, 5th Avenue, definitely reshut harabim. Ocean Parkway, reshut harabim. Belt Parkway, reshut harabim. I don't know if you have in Costa Rica one. Yeah, maybe the way going to Yaco, that big road, the toll road, maybe. In Colombia, for sure, the Carrera Cinco is definitely reshut harabim. So if you have that, all bets are off. You cannot make an eruv. If you have a situation of carmalis, which means there's a lot of people going by, but not 600,000, or you don't have a road of 22 feet wide, so then you can make an eruv. What an eruv is, you ask the city where you are. So for Yossi, in Akko, it's very easy. You speak to the mayor. You say, listen, I want to buy the city. You give the mayor, make a document. You give him $1. You own the right to close the city. So now you make a string around the whole city, and you close the roads, or even for 1 moment. It can be road for road, and now you can make an eruv, but you just have to check it every Friday, and you can carry. If you want any information how to make an eruv, we will have a class on that. But if you don't have an eruv, you cannot carry on Shabbat. On Yom Tov, you can in theory carry without an eruv, but what many people don't know is that Yom Tov is more strict than Shabbat. Why? On Yom Tov you are allowed to only carry things which you need for Yom Tov for that day. For example, when you go to shul on the first day of Yom Tov, and you carry your talit, and you leave it there, and the night of the second night, which is after the second evening after Mariv, you decide you go to a different synagogue, or you want your talit at home, you cannot carry it home. You're not allowed to carry it home because you don't need it. Sorry, by mincha you cannot carry it home because you don't need it. By Mariv also not, because you don't need it at Mariv, you need it in the morning. So you cannot carry a safe key that you don't go in on Shabbat or Yom Tov. You can't carry your car keys, etc., etc. So we have to be very careful with that. Okay, I guess that's a wrap. Have a great night, everybody, and success preparing for Pesach. Hopefully we have a regular shiur tomorrow night. Kol tov motek, leila tov. Bye bye. Alright, Jessica. Bye bye, kol tov.